Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Grade 10 CBSE Important Questions Revision. Both poems Dust of Snow and Fire and Ice use contrasting elements of nature to convey their respective messages about life and human emotions, but they do it differently. Examine these differences. Both Dust of Snow and Fire and Ice use nature to express human emotions, but they do so in contrasting ways. In Dust of Snow, a simple natural incident, a crow shaking snow onto the poet, brings an unexpected positive change in mood. Nature here acts as a gentle healer, suggesting that even small moments can uplift our spirits. In contrast, Fire and Ice uses extreme natural symbols to explore destructive human emotions. Fire represents uncontrolled desire, while ice symbolizes hatred and indifference. Unlike the hopeful tone of Dust of Snow, this poem warns that such emotions can lead to an end of relationships or even the world. Both the texts for Annie Gregory and the Sermon at Benares grapple with the idea that external attributes are fleeting and subject to decay. Examine the similarities. Both for Annie Gregory and the Sermon at Benares highlight the truth that external appearances are temporary and ultimately insignificant. In For Annie Gregory, the poet suggests that physical beauty such as hair or complexion cannot earn genuine love because these features fade with time. True affection must look beyond outward charm. Similarly, the Sermon at Benares teaches that the human body is perishable and subject to aging, illness, and death. The Buddha urges people to rise above attachment to the physical form and understand the importance of life. Both texts therefore emphasize inner qualities and spiritual understanding over superficial attributes. Evaluate how Griffin's character is shaped by a combination of personal ambition, the unintended consequences of his scientific pursuits, and the reaction of the society he faces. This question is taken from the chapter The Invisible Man. Griffin's character in The Invisible Man is shaped by a blend of personal ambition, the unforeseen results of his experiments, and society's fearful response. His intense desire for scientific greatness drives him to discover invisibility, but his ambition blinds him to the moral responsibility. Once invisible, he faces unexpected hardships, cold, hunger, and vulnerability, which make him increasingly frustrated and reckless. Society's reaction further hardens him. Instead of admiration, he encounters suspicion, hostility, and rejection. This deepens his bitterness and pushes him towards violence and domination. Thus, Griffin transforms from a brilliant scientist into a destructive figure, shaped equally by his own choices and the world's response to him. Imagine that M. Loisel, from the chapter The Necklace, writes a diary entry exploring the theme of class and social status and the nature of social mobility in the context of his own experience. Write this diary entry as M. Loisel in about 120 words. Diary entry M. Loisel. Today I find myself reflecting on how deeply class and social status shape our lives. I have always been a simple clerk, content with modest comforts, yet I see how Matilde longs for a world far above our reach. Her desire to appear wealthy pushed us into borrowing that necklace, an attempt at social mobility that proved painfully costly. I worked for years to repay the debt, watching our lives grow harder while the world remained indifferent to our struggle. It seems that rising in society is not merely a matter of effort, but of birth, luck, and appearances. Still, I hope Matilde understands now that dignity and honesty matter far more than the glitter of status. A character arc is a transformation or development of a character throughout a story and refers to the changes a character undergoes as a result of their experiences, challenges, and interactions with other characters. In the light of the above information, trace the character arc of the thief in Ruskin Bond's The Thief's Story in about 120 words. In the thief story, the young thief undergoes a significant transformation shaped by his experiences with Anil. At the beginning, he is cunning, self-serving, and skilled at deceiving people for personal gain. His only aim is to survive through theft. However, living with Anil exposes him to trust, kindness, and genuine human warmth, values he has never experienced before. When he steals Anil's money, he realizes the weight of betraying someone who treated him with affection and honesty. This inner conflict marks the turning point in his character. He returns the money, choosing integrity over greed. By the end, the thief evolves into a boy who desires education, dignity, and a better life, proving that compassion can inspire true change. Why was Helen Keller withdrawn from the Gilman School? How was her education pursued further? Helen Keller was withdrawn from the Gilman School because the strict and demanding schedule there began to exhaust her. The constant pressure of preparing for multiple subjects at once affected her health, and her teacher, Miss Sullivan, felt that the school's rigid methods did not suit Helen's unique learning needs. After leaving Gilman, Helen continued her education privately under Miss Sullivan's guidance. They worked at a pace that matched Helen's abilities, using flexible methods and personalized instructions. Later, Helen received help from private tutors in subjects like Latin, Greek, and mathematics, which eventually enabled her to prepare successfully for the entrance examinations to Radcliffe College. Anne Frank loved her father a lot. She once wrote a letter to him regarding the relationship with Peter. What does it reveal about her character? Anne Frank's letter to her father about her relationship with Peter reveals her honesty, sensitivity, and emotional maturity. Instead of hiding her feelings, she chooses to share them openly, showing that she values transparency and trusts her father deeply. Her reflection in the letter also highlight her ability to examine her own emotions thoughtfully. She questions whether her attachment to Peter is genuine affection or simply a response to the loneliness of life in hiding. At the same time, Annie is considerate and responsible, reassuring her father that she will maintain appropriate boundaries. Overall, the letter portrays Annie as sincere, introspective, respectful, and capable of understanding both her own feelings and the concerns of those around her. What is Annie's advice when one is reeling under melancholy? Annie Frank believes that when someone is overwhelmed by sadness or melancholy, the best remedy is to go outside and connect with nature. She advises that one should look at the sky, breathe the fresh air, observe the trees, birds, and sunlight, and allow the beauty of natural world to lift the spirit. According to her, nature has the power to calm the mind, restore hope, and remind us that happiness still exists even in difficult times. Annie's advice reflects her own ability to find comfort and strength in simple, natural surroundings, despite the harsh circumstances she lived in. What happened as a result of the plagiarizing incident for Helen? What was the effect of this event on her life? Helen Keller faced a painful experience after being accused of plagiarizing the story The Frost King. Although she had written it innocently, without realizing it resembled another published tale, the incident created a major controversy. A formal investigation was held, and Helen was questioned intensely, which left her frightened and emotionally shaken. Even though she was eventually cleared of intentional wrongdoing, the experience deeply affected her confidence. She felt humiliated and became anxious about writing creatively, fearing she might unknowingly copy someone again. This incident marked a turning point in her life, making her more cautious, reflective, and self aware. However, it also strengthened her determination to learn independently and shaped her into a more thoughtful and disciplined writer. Annie was so witty, clever, and wise in presenting her views on the subject. It is seen in her statement, "There is no smoke without fire." What does Annie Frank want to refer to by this statement? Explain. Annie Frank's remarks, "There is no smoke without fire," reflects her sharp understanding of human behavior. By this statement, she means that people do not gossip or suspect others without some reason behind it. Even if the reason is small or misunderstood, rumors usually arise from something that has actually happened. Annie uses this proverb to explain that the attention she and Peter receive is not entirely baseless. There is some truth in their growing friendship which naturally makes others curious. The line shows Annie's wit and maturity. She recognizes that people talk when they notice changes, and instead of being offended, she accepts it with humor and wisdom. People should always try to live within their means. Aspirations have no limits, but one should never forget the ground realities. Elaborate on the basis of the chapter The Necklace. In The Necklace, the author powerfully illustrates why people should live within their means and remain aware of their real circumstances. Matilde Loisel's aspirations far exceed her modest lifestyle. She dreams of luxury jewels, admiration, forgetting the financial limitations of her family. Her desire to appear wealthy at the ball leads her to borrow a necklace that she believes will elevate her social image. However, when the necklace is lost, the Loisels fall into 10 years of hardship, debt, and physical labor to replace it. Ironically, the original necklace was fake. The story shows that ignoring ground realities and chasing appearances can lead to unnecessary suffering, while contentment and honesty are far wiser choices. Simple movements prove to be very significant and saves rest of the day of the poet from being wasted. Explain on the basis of the poem The Dust of Snow. In the poem Dust of Snow, a very simple moment becomes unexpectedly significant for the poet. He is in a gloomy, depressed mood and feels that his day is going to be wasted. At that moment, a crow shakes down a small shower of snow from the hemlock tree onto him. This tiny, ordinary incident instantly lifts his spirits. The cold touch of the snow and the suddenness of the moment refresh his mind and change his outlook. What seemed like a ruined day becomes meaningful and pleasant. The poem shows that even small, natural experiences can have a powerful impact on our mood and can save an entire day from being lost to negativity. Did Ebright have other interests besides science? Mention them. This question is taken from the chapter The Making of a Scientist. Yes, Richard Ebright had several interests besides science. As a child, he enjoyed collecting coins, rocks, and fossils, which showed his curiosity about the world. He also loved astronomy and spent time observing the night sky. Ebright was an active, talented student who participated in debates and public speaking, becoming a champion debater and a good speaker. He was also a photography enthusiast, especially interested in taking pictures of nature and scientific subjects. These varied interests helped him develop patience, observation skills, and confidence, all of which later supported his success as a scientist. Describe in simple words the young seagulls landing on the sea water. What were the family members doing at that time? This question is taken from his first flight. The young seagulls landing on the sea was a moment of both fear and surprise for him. When he finally gathered courage and flew over the sea, he became terrified, seeing the vast water below. But as he dropped down, his belly touched the surface and he realized the water was soft and supporting, just like a cushion. He floated safely without sinking. At that very moment, his family, his mother, father, and siblings were flying around him, cheering and encouraging him proudly. They were celebrating his first successful flight and happily guiding him as he learned to float on the sea. Stereotypes are often misleading. Elaborate on the given quote in the context of the chapter The Midnight Visitor. In The Midnight Visitor, the statement stereotypes are often misleading is perfectly illustrated through the character of Ozable. Fowler expects a secret agent to be slim, stylish, sharp, and adventurous, just like the stereotypical spies in books and films. Instead, Ozable is fat, slow moving, and lives in a dull hotel room. At first glance, he seems nothing like a detective. However, the story proves that appearances can be deceptive. Despite lacking the typical spy look, Ozable is intelligent, calm, and quick-witted. He handles a dangerous situation with confidence and outsmarts Max using nothing but his presence of mind. Thus, the story shows that judging people based on stereotypes can lead to completely wrong conclusions. Love, human sympathy, and education can transform even a thief. How could Anil bring such a change in Hari Singh? This question is taken from the chapter The Thief's Story. Anil brings a remarkable change in Hari Singh through love, sympathy, and the promise of education. Instead of treating Hari with suspicion, Anil welcomes him with kindness and trust, giving him food, work, and a place to stay. His warmth is new to Hari, who is used to cheating people. Anil's gentle behavior and lack of anger, even when Hari makes mistakes, slowly touch the boy's conscience. When Hari steals the money, he realizes he cannot betray someone who genuinely cares for him. He returns and chooses education over crime. Thus, Anil's compassion transforms Hari into a hopeful, honest boy. Examine how both Madam Rides the Bus and Tea from Assam, Glimpses of India 3, celebrate the power of exploration with reference to Wali and Rajveer, respectively. Both Madam Rides the Bus and Tea from Assam celebrate the power of exploration through Wali and Rajveer. Wali, a young girl, explores the world beyond her village by taking a bus ride on her own. This small journey fills her with confidence, joy, and new understanding. Similarly, Rajveer explores Assam's tea gardens with great curiosity. He observes the beautiful scenery, learns about reproduction, and asks thoughtful questions. Both characters show that exploring new places and experiences help us learn, grow, and see the world differently. Their curiosity turns ordinary journeys into meaningful discoveries. Thank you.